Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming in and you know uh, joining us here. Um, and I'm here with Venkat. Venkat is with Equity. He'll introduce himself. I'm myself Vishal Puri. I lead engineering, insights and data engineering for Tiger Analytics. We are a niche data and AI company focus on uh, you know, uh, the entire data to AI value chain, delivering value across retail, CPG, manufacturing, insurance, healthcare, etc. Um, work very closely with Equity. Um, Venkat, why don't you go ahead and introduce
Sure.
yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Vishal. Hey everyone, my name is Venkat Chanamseti. I come from a company called Equity Brands, which is a industrial technology company. We manufacture luminaires or the light fixtures. I actually lead the application and data engineering teams there at Equity.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, Venkat. So today we are really going to talk about uh, basically the work that we are doing together in supporting Equity's supply chain transformation, specifically related to integrated business planning and basically leading supply chain operations from the front shield rather than from the rear view mirror, right? And uh, to start off with, Venkat, tell us a little bit about you know what are why this transformation is needed. What led to Equity starting on this journey?
Absolutely. Yeah. Almost like all the companies, I mean, everyone saw a shift in things during COVID, right? So we are actually a manufacturing company where we used to think about infinite inventory. Like you have suppliers who will give you infinite raw materials, and your plants can scale up, and all that actually things went for a toss during COVID, where we realized that we don't have enough raw material, there is a lot of demand, and we were not able to catch up on the overall delivery. So that's where actually we realized that the process is broken in the context of planning. So basically the whole thing started with integrated business planning, where actually we wanted to create an efficient planning process, primarily for four different things. One, actually we want to plan it in the right way so that our plants actually know what to manufacture when. We can work with suppliers to really source the raw material in the right way. And the second thing, in the context of agility, the speed at which actually we wanted to move is definitely, it took a hit during COVID because of the supplier backlogs. So we wanted to actually get more agile as a manufacturer. And the third one is efficiency with respect to costs, like be it be the COVID situation or even now with tariffs and all that. Things started changing with the entire actually manufacturing, where you have high cost of manufacturing, so we want to take care of that. And last, definitely not the least, it's like meeting the customer demand. Like we want to deliver the product to the customers when they need it. I think that's like, these are the real things from a business standpoint on why this transformation is needed. It's more of business transformation powered by technology and data. So
Right, right. And tell us a little bit about the process. What's the supply planning process? What does it need? Why is data so important?
yeah. So integrated business planning, like you see on the slide, it's primarily three different things, right? One is actually the demand and supply planning. Actually, we need to know the raw material and what customers need and all that. The second piece is FP&A, the financial planning, because you also want to make sure you run your company efficiently in the right costs. So you need to actually manage your costs. And the third one, more about commercial planning. It's all about sales and all that. So, like I said, the problem with the whole thing end to end is when companies don't have the connected data ecosystem end to end, we actually miss the visibility. Like there can be different parts of the organization. Manufacturing doesn't know what planning is doing, and they don't know what sales is doing. That is where data becomes the key piece of the puzzle, where we want to create that visibility into the analytics. The second one is actually the reliable data source. Like if you think of source systems, like usually for most of the companies, planning is done at a different place, the sales are done at a different place. That is where we wanted to create that cohesive end-to-end data platform, which actually connects the data.
Yeah.
Like our CEO quotes, the data is a river that actually flows across. So that's one of the things we wanted to do. And then with the way how things are changing, it's not about just running it efficiently, it's also using the entire AI/ML process. It's like with the massive data sets, you wanted to really start leveraging things. And last but definitely not the least and most important is democratizing the data. So basically you can build best of the breed data platform. If your users are not able to access it, then it won't be much useful. That's the place where actually the entire effort with Databricks and the data platform that Tiger was doing came handy, because we went with a software O9, which many of you might have heard of. It's like Blue Yonder, O9, all these systems for the IBP.
Right.
Then it's all about how do you give access to the data to your supply planners, buyers, and all of them. That's where we wanted to then build a connected thing where the data comes into
Right.
the lake and everyone can access.
Yeah. So you do often, the first thing that a company that's making significant investments in supply chain planning, integrated supply chain planning, first thing they do is buy, a package, an integrated business planning package that may be an SAP, an O9. And what is the role of an intelligence platform, a data intelligence platform? You already have a planning platform,
Yeah.
right? So what role does it play?
Yeah, I think the you're right. Actually, when you think of the IBP software and all that, actually, it actually does its job based on the data you feed in, right? Basically, you give it the right set of data. The IBP software can actually come back and give you insights into the plan and forecast and all that. But then actually creating a 360 view of data is the piece that will be missing usually. That's where
Yeah.
actually we wanted to extend the IBP data sets into the data lake. Our data lake is ADLS. We are on Azure, powered by Databricks. That's where we really wanted to create that 360 view of data, which will take the data beyond planning and
Yeah.
forecasting, connecting with sales and all that.
Right. Right. And when we started on this journey, Venkat, there were obviously, you already had been on this journey for a while. What is it that was not working? What were the challenges that you were facing
Yeah.
with data systems, etc.?
It's all primarily the disconnected data, right? So basically, we actually have data at various places. We didn't have that end-to-end insights. Like I was saying a minute ago, the supply planners, the buyers, and the sales team, they are all actually having different visualization of their own data sets. So we are
Right.
actually missing that end-to-end data. And the reports are all more like metrics driven. Basically, we wanted to create a windshield view of things. Basically, where are we heading? It's not about what happened, rather it's more about what are we getting into. And really the speed at which the company was moving was slower,
Right.
because it's a lot of data. Someone need to spend a lot of manual time, they need to actually do a lot of data crunching. I think that these are the things that did not work well. That's where actually with the whole data platform and um, the architecture that we started with Databricks, I think Tiger actually brought in a lot of things in the context of how can you do your ETLs efficiently? How do you think of data product concept, which actually brings in the entire medallion architecture
Yeah.
and all that?
Yeah. So, uh, we uh, together we've embraced the concept of data products
Yeah.
and the idea of a supply chain data product, right? And across the board, that's the architecture strategy at Equity. What does a supply chain data product mean to you? What does it mean to your business?
Yeah. So the way at least how we started our supply chain data product today is really focused on IBP, which is the inbound supply chain side of things, which really creates that end-to-end visibility from demand planning, supply planning, FP&A, and all that. And then maybe the journey where we are heading now is really extending the supply chain data product even into outbound side of things. It's all about actually transportation and all that, so that you connect everything end to end, all the way from manufacturing, shipment and carriers and all that. So
Right, right. So if you see the picture, right, you have data products across the data value chain, from sales, marketing, supply chain in one place. Um, there is a lot that you need to do foundationally
yeah,
for this data to actually be impactful, right? It's a journey that you have to buy into and get into. Uh, Especially with supply chain and with integrated business planning, when you are trying to connect data across these domains, um, fundamentally, because you have different systems,
system.
you have to tie the data together. That's the first challenge
That's
that
right.
we come
Yep.
across, right? You don't have consistent, customer, consistent suppliers across systems, even product,
Yeah.
right? Uh, how you categorize products, how you look at product hierarchies, etc. So when you build a foundation, and especially with Databricks, one of the things that we said was uh, we will talk about creating foundational products. We'll talk about business
Business.
analytical products, right? There's a two-tiered system that we adopted, where you'll have good, clean data that can be brought to a connecting standpoint, and then build analytical products that actually the business can use, play around with. We can actually democratize that data, right?
Yeah.
Um, so there is, there was a decision that was made to not expose the data as is
Yeah.
to the consumers, which was happening a lot, right?
Absolutely.
What is it that you see today in terms of the foundation that has been created and the data product that has been created, that's bringing excitement to the business in terms of what it has unlocked for them?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, one is from a business view standpoint, where actually the moment you adopt the medallion, silver and gold, and really create a business product, now they actually have a lot of metrics that are being served, rather than they trying to take a lot of raw data and crunch it for the metrics. And the second thing is really all around the access management also. Like, we did adopt a Unity catalog part of it.
Right.
So now actually the users have the right visibility to the metrics and all that. And most importantly, it's the reusability of data products. So basically, people from various organizations can access the same data product. So the definition is done right, the data they use is right,
Right,
and all that.
right.
So
The conversation in the organization has changed
uh,
in terms of I I need this data product, who's the owner of the data product, etc.
that's right.
Right. In terms of the architecture that we chose, there are some foundational building blocks to it. There's one of the things that we said was we need to do this efficiently, we need to do this quickly, uh, to enable value for the business quicker, right? So in terms of building the foundation, there were a couple of different things that we have done here which are fairly good. uh, we took an approach of enabling everything on top of Unity Catalog, of course, but then we built a data fabric, which was an automation layer that helps us quickly onboard data. There are several different data sources to onboard, quickly onboard data, utilize advanced capabilities to harmonize that data. Uh, and that was part of this data fabric, which is basically a unified portal that we have enabled at Acuity. The second aspect is what you call the marketplace, which is the storefront, data storefront. Even as we onboard the data, curate the data, we wanted it to be searchable, easily usable by the business users. So this is a place where every onboarded data set, every curated data set can be easily searched, accessed, and utilized underneath, right? So you can think of it as basically the experience layer on top of Unity Catalog that has been created. That's been very useful. That Unity Catalog is not something a business person interacts with, but having a face to your data, having bringing out how what's the trustability of data, what is the source of data, making it apparent for the business users has been extremely helpful, right? The third thing in the architecture that we are focusing on now, is the focus on the semantic layer,
Yeah.
right? Where we have common curated metrics easily available, the ability of business users to utilize those metrics, ability for AI agents in the future to easily utilize these metrics has been critical, right? There's a there are things that we are doing in terms of consolidating bombs, consolidating the bill of materials. There's a huge explosion of bill of materials. Being able to classify that, bring that through as a usable data set, in this, and also create AI ML models, forecasting models, prediction models, making that data, the forecasts easily available through this marketplace, right? It does need to be, you can do all this cool stuff, but it needs to be easily utilizable, easily consumable. So basically, the marketplace as well as the semantic layer is key to the enablement of that.
Yeah.
One of the core things is that a company is never static. It may always be increasing its product portfolio, buying new companies,
Yeah.
assimilating other brands. So, um, what do you see as from this architecture in enabling that assimilation
Yeah. Yeah.
quickly
So,
to the
like you
enterprise?
rightly called out, and that's one thing in the lighting industry where we see almost 3 to 5 acquisitions every year. So, what it means is you actually bring in
Mm.
new companies with different data sets and all that. With this architecture, at least one thing we really were able to now do is scalability. Basically, you can actually bring in data from a different ERP, a different IBP system,
Right.
connect it back into the data products. So for business, it is actually the same data products, the same data definitions that they get.
Right.
And the other biggest thing we got out of this architecture is the way how your data scientists and data engineers will access the data, and the way how your business will access the data is now common.
Yeah.
Basically, that semantic layer, the data platform, actually now gives a common definition. That's the biggest thing we got.
Yep. And some of the core innovations that we have brought as Tiger Analytics to this particular equation that we have been working with equity on is the use of Tiger's accelerators around our data fabric, marketplace. We have obviously utilized our data foundation. We have a common data model that we have built out, as well as from a business value stream perspective, bringing in your integrated data products, right? So there are accelerators across the board that we brought in to accelerate this journey, uh, without which this whole process slows
No
down,
tech. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, these are some of the core use cases within integrated business planning that we are working on, around demand planning, inventory planning, supply planning, and lastly procurement planning. And all of this gets unlocked at a faster pace because of this data ecosystem that has been created. Yeah. Anything that you would like to say in closing?
No, actually, I think the real thing is speed to the market. I think that's the thing. Like as companies go through transformation, it's all about how fast it can change, and that's where with Databricks as well as with Tiger actually coming in, that's the expertise we really got in, right? Because we are a legacy company actually that has things from 10, 15 years, 20 years. So this entire thing really showcased to the organization how fast we can move. So, okay.
Thank you, Venkat. Any questions? Please do feel free to ask.